It is time to continue on with the 2025-26 season previews today, and we have the Vegas Golden Knights. Now, Vegas has been a very prominent and very good team for almost the entire history of their franchise, and they just acquired another brand new franchise player to bring onto their team. Things are looking pretty good right now for Vegas. We are down to the last batch of teams in the 2025-26 season previews. We have been previewing all 32 team seasons. We have now down Anaheim up to Vancouver at this point. So if you want to check those out, be sure to do so in the card above. But regardless, let's hop into the Vegas Golden Knights here, who have been a very good team for the last 10 years at this point since they've come into the NHL. Now, let's go back to 2022-23, where they won their Stanley Cup. They went 51-22-9 for 111 points. They were fifth in the National Hockey League that year. They would not only make the playoffs, but they would also win the 2023 Stanley Cup, and it was a phenomenal run. They weren't losing in any of the series that they played at all at any point in the series, and they were just playing some phenomenal hockey, phenomenal team. It was honestly incredible to see when you look at this overall Vegas team. They were phenomenal that year. The year afterwards, they would deal with some injuries, and things would certainly take a step back from the year before, where they went 45-29-8 for 98 points. They went 14th in the league that year. They were in a wild card spot. They faced Dallas in the first round, and they lose. And that was a loss that definitely sucked, but honestly, it was a little bit expected because, again, they were dealing with those injuries. Mark Stone didn't even play for the entire year, and obviously there were other things going on there with that, and Dallas was just all around a good team. There's really no other way to say it, to be honest with you. But above all, Vegas just wasn't in the cards that year for them to win. The following year, they would come back bigger and better, where they went 50-22-10 for 110 points. They were third in the league that year. They would make the playoffs. In the playoffs, though, they had some worries. I had some worries about Vegas. They struggled to beat Minnesota, it seemed like, and as well as that, too, against Edmonton, they just shriveled up. They were not the team that they were in previous series against the Oilers. They just simply weren't, and it was very concerning, which is why when I was looking at my research for making this video, I looked at it and I'm like, oh, yeah, I don't know. Playoffs definitely need to be a big factor next year for sure. You look at your management here. I'll explain more about that in just a moment. But your management here, you have Kelly McCrimmon, who has been the general manager since 1920. He has done some phenomenal moves, trading for guys like Tomas Hertl, Mark Stone, Jack Eichel, Mitch Marner. Need I say more? Like, he has done all of this to create Vegas' roster and get them to a Stanley Cup. So Kelly McCrimmon gets a lot of credit. Bruce Cassidy is the head coach. He's been there since 2022-23. His first year, they have won the Cup. And as well as that, too, he's been a very consistent coach since then. So overall, this management is a management that I have a large abundance of trust in because in years prior, it has always been able to live up to the expectations. Maybe Cassidy can have some criticism on him for, obviously, the playoff results the last two seasons, but overall, I think that this management is very, very good. You look at your key arrivals now for the Golden Knights. You start off with Mitch Marner, Colton Sissons, Cole Reinhardt, Jeremy Lauzon, and then Jacob Magna and Dylan Coghlan are your guys that Vegas acquired this year. So, starting off with Marner. Marner is Marner. I'll just say that. He is a phenomenal offensively talented forward. He has put up some incredible numbers with the Toronto Maple Leafs, and he is coming alongside guys like Jack Eichel, Mark Stone, Ivan Barbashev, Pavel Dorofeev. Very, very good players. So I expect Marner to take another really big step, and I feel like him and Eichel are going to be very dynamic this coming season. It's going to be a lot of fun to watch. Colton Sissons going to be a depth forward there, probably playing fourth-line center minutes is where they have him on the depth chart. Cole Reinhardt will be a decent depth forward there as well. Nothing really serious about him. And then with Pietrangelo being out, Jeremy Lauzon's going to get a chance. and is going to play a lot of games. So that's going to be interesting there as well. As well as that, too, Magna and Coughlin are going to play as well. So I would keep that in mind, too. Those guys are really there to just kind of bolster Vegas' depth. And I think they're good depth acquisitions there as well. So really nothing much to complain on there for me. But overall, the key arrivals, Mitch Marner alone makes it phenomenal. Your key departures then for Vegas. You start off with Nicholas Hague, Nicholas Waugh, Victor Olofsson, Tanner Pearson, and Ilya Samsonov are the guys that Vegas let go of. So I do want to say this. To be honest with you, there's really nobody here who is that big of a loss. Hague will be missed on the blue line, but they had to make that trade to get Marner, so I guess it kind of is what it is. Nicholas Waugh will be a good third-line center. He will be missed, but Vegas, their depth chart down the middle is incredibly stacked as it is, so I think it makes more sense to let go of a guy like Waugh, so then that way you have another roster spot clocked up there for somebody else to pick up. As well as that, too, Olofsson was decent on the second power play, but really wasn't that great offensively. Tanner Pearson, depth forward more or less, and then Samsonov was the backup for Hill. Not that great, to be honest with you. So overall, your key departures list is very underwhelming, but it's not really anybody that's like, yeah, it sucks that they're losing them. There's a couple of guys in there where it's like, you wish them the best and all that, but overall, I think Vegas is pretty content with losing some of these players. So then that being said, let's take a look at the Hockey News' depth chart for the Vegas Golden Knights. You start off on your left wing side here. You have Ivan Barbashev, Pavel Dorofeev, Brett Howden, Brandon Saad, and Cole Reinhardt are all the guys on your left wing side there for Vegas. So Barbashev, one of the more underrated players in the league, put up some solid, consistent numbers with Vegas. I don't think he's necessarily the most elite guy they have on the left wing side. I think Dorofeev's going to be better, but regardless, Barbashev is good. You also have Dorofeev, who I think I have been giving Dorofeev a lot of credit on social media. He is a very underrated forward and goal scorer for the Vegas Golden Knights. He scored like 30 goals last year as a young kid. So, like, essentially, this guy has been great for Vegas the last couple of seasons. So, honestly, Dorofeev deserves a lot more credit. Brett Howden, good solid bottom six forward, has been contributing for them offensively for a while now. And then Brandon Saad, probably in his last year, possibly playing ever. But honestly, Saad has put up some solid numbers as well throughout his career as well. And then Cole Reinhardt, don't really know a whole lot about him. I know he was with Calgary for a little bit, but overall, kind of a guy who's bounced around the league a little bit for sure. You look at your center depth, it's very, very good. You have Jack Eichel, Tomas Hertl, almost said Erik Karlsson, William Karlsson, and then Colton Sissons rounding out your first four. Then you have Cole Schwindt as your extra center there as well. So Eichel is Eichel. Eichel puts up phenomenal numbers in the regular season. The playoffs have left something to be desired, so we'll see what happens there. Eichel is on the last year of his contract, so he will be getting a pay raise. That is going to happen. So just want to put that out there to the world for sure. Tomas Hertl, good second-line center there as well. Dynamic, great skill, even still at this point in his career. It's still so weird for me to see him in Vegas after all those years with the Sharks. It just feels so strange to me even still. I know he's been there for like 2 seasons now at this point. It still feels weird. Karlsson, you can still rely on for goals. Not as much as he once was, but you can still rely on him for goal scoring. So that's something there that you want to keep in mind as well. Colton Sissons will be a good fourth-line center there as well. I got no qualms about Colton Sissons whatsoever. And then Cole Schwindt, very solid depth forward there as well. So very solid center core. Very, very deep. I got no problems with that. Your right wing side, Mitch Marner, Mark Stone, Riley Smith, Keegan Colasar, and then Alexander Holtz with an asterisk next to him. I will discuss that in just a moment. But going through that right wing side, you have Marner. Who is Marner? Like Eichel is Eichel. Marner is Marner. Incredible score, elite talent, great poise. The question you're asking ourselves is, are they going to do that in the playoffs? Is he going to do that in the playoffs? So you can be the judge of that. But regular season, no question. Mark Stone, when healthy, is a phenomenal captain, phenomenal player. I got absolutely nothing bad to say about Mark Stone. The only thing that I will say is that he needs to just be healthy. And I think that's just a big factor with him. But overall, he's been mostly healthy the last like 2 seasons or so. But regardless, Got to give him a lot of credit there for sure. And then you have Riley Smith, good middle six forward, longtime Vegas Golden Knight. Kolesar, great fourth liner. I got nothing bad to say about Keegan Kolesar, one of my personal favorites in the league. And then Alexander Holtz, he's not yet signed. He is an RFA who has not yet signed a contract. This could be an instance of him thinking he's more than he's worth. And honestly, we have really not heard much about him. We've heard a lot more about the other guys who aren't signed. But regardless, there's that. But overall, Vegas' forward core is very, very good. I honestly think that this top six is one of the best top sixes in the league. It's really stacked top to bottom. I love it. You look at your defensive core then for the Golden Knights, and I got to be honest with you, this is where I look at it and I say, yeah, that's probably their biggest weakness in my opinion. I think it's good, but it can certainly be better. On your left shot side, you have Brayden McNabb, Noah Hanifin, Jeremy Lauzon, and then Jacob Magna and Dylan Coghlan are your guys on that left shot side for Vegas. So, McNabb, still at this point in his career, very solid defensive two-way type of player. Still has that capabilities to them, so I got no doubts there about Brayden McNabb, very solid player. Noah Hanifin, great offensively, great shot, great offensive IQ and mind. So Hanifin's off the board there as well. He is awesome too. Jeremy Lauzon, one of the new acquisitions, will be a solid defensive defenseman. And then guys like Magna and Coghlan will fit in well on that left shot side there as well as good def pieces there too. On your right shot side, you have Shea Theodore, Zach Whitecloud, Caden Korzak. You also have Ben Hutton and Lucas Cormier as your extra defenseman there as well on that right shot side. So Theodore is very underrated even still. The fact that this guy is ranked a little bit lower on some list, even by me, I think personally it's a little bit disrespectful. He is still a very good defenseman and is the best defenseman on Vegas. There's no doubt about it in my mind. Whitecloud, solid defensive defenseman there as well. You got to give him credit where it's due. He's put up great numbers. Korzak played games last year, was like a 7th defenseman a lot of the time, 6D. He will get a chance to play more, 100%. As well as that too, Ben Hutton, good def guy as well. And then Cormier, I talked about him in the prospect pool overviews. He is somebody to look forward to here as well on the Vegas side of things. So overall, solid decor, but it certainly could be better in my opinion, which is why I think there's a good chance that maybe come the trade deadline, what Vegas focuses on is defense. We'll see. And then you look at the goaltending for the Golden Knights. You start off with Adin Hill, Akira Schmid, Carl Lindbaum, and Vikman are your goaltenders in your depth chart for Vegas. So Adin Hill is polarizing because he's had some really good numbers, but he's also had some really bad numbers. I am a big fan of Adin Hill. I've liked him since he was with Arizona. One of my favorites growing up as a kid. Honestly, I think Hill has put up some good numbers. I do feel like he deserves more credit than what he gets, but I do think that there is a concern there with how he can play sometimes. Schmid hasn't really gotten a chance to be a backup full-time. We'll see how this year goes for him. And then Lindbaum had his first full year in Henderson last year. I don't expect for him to play that much. He might play a few games if someone gets injured. He is the third guy to be called up. But regardless, that's your Golden Knights goalie depth chart. Overall, it's solid, but it's nothing really that great compared to some of the other really stacked cup contenders around the league. So maybe Vegas looks at that. But I think they have a lot of trust in Hill as it is anyways. So then that brings us to your biggest questions for the Golden Knights. And my one is just, how will the team perform in the playoffs? Look, there is no question when you look at the Vegas Golden Knights and you look at this roster that this team is going to do very good in the regular season. Barring a large abundance of injuries that hit the team, which it happens to teams. It does every year. Colorado was the victim last year. Vegas, you could argue, was the victim the year before. Every team gets hit with injuries, but Vegas is going to do phenomenal in the regular season. The biggest thing is the playoffs, because I really felt like when I was streaming the games last year against Minnesota and against the Oilers, I didn't think Vegas was playing to the full potential that they could play to. And I think Vegas fans would agree with me. I didn't think they looked like the Vegas that I saw in 22-23. I didn't see that in this team. And I felt like there was some really poor playoff performances from a lot of players on this roster. Like Jack Eichel had a rough second round. Honestly, I felt like the Golden Knights weren't really contributing and producing offense as much as they were, which bringing in Mitch Marner could be interesting. But again, Marner on the Leafs wasn't that great in the playoffs. So there's that whole thing to bring up. But maybe now that Marner is out of Toronto, maybe they'll be able to turn something around there. I don't know. But again, the playoffs are the biggest thing with me. And that being said, let's go into our final question here. Playoffs? Standings? Cup? Those are the things that we're asking ourselves here about the Vegas Golden Knights. So, playoffs, yes. Standings, I think they win the West. I think they have a dynamic forward core, solid enough defense. I think it could be better, but it's still a very good defense and good goaltending as well. I think they are going to win the West, in my opinion. I really believe they do. And honestly, I wouldn't be shocked if they get the Presidents. I wouldn't be shocked at all if that happens either. But Cup, it does depend on if they perform in the playoffs. And again, like the Western Conference the last couple of years, if you're going to go through and get to the Stanley Cup Finals, you are going to have to go through the Oilers. Better yet, if you want to get to the conference finals, you have to get through the Oilers. So that's the biggest thing that I'm looking at there, and you ask yourself the question, well, can the Golden Knights beat McDavid and the Oilers? They did 2 years ago. Can they now? Questions we're asking ourselves here about this team. But I really think they can do it. I think they have great offensive skill. They got a great defense as well. My money's on it. My money's on it that they can. And if they don't, they tried. But regardless, let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below on the Vegas Golden Knights. Thank you all for watching. At least if they lose to the Oilers, at least they have good jerseys. Like, they always have great jerseys. Come on. Vegas is just known for that. But thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed, subscribe down below. And I will see you guys in the next video.